If you're in North America, you might be seeing jewelweed all around you this time of year. My chickens like to snack on the leaves and seed pods, so I pick a lot of them. The root systems are perfect for drying out and using as miniature trees. Many plants have root balls which would work, but I have easy access to plenty of these, which is why they're what I'm using here. People who haven't tried it before sometimes worry natural or organic materials will rot, but that risk is overstated. From wicker baskets to timber used in buildings, people use organic materials for things every day, and they can last for years and years. As long as they're clean and dried well, rot is not a real problem. I've made tons of dioramas and tabletop terrain that incorporates natural stuff, and I've never had a problem with mold or rot on any of it.
With proper preparation, natural materials can add a unique, authentic feel to miniatures and terrain. Plus, the potential for them to change and evolve over time can be really interesting. They change in subtle ways, which materials like resin and plastic don't. The way they develop patina and character as they age can add so much depth and richness to a piece.
Another benefit is that they're free. Whether it's jewelweed or something else, odds are good you have wild plants nearby that you can use. Lots of those plants are weeds or invasive species you might be planning to remove anyway. House plants that die are often good sources of interesting root systems. I recently learned about something called the Beer Coaster Challenge when I saw a video on the channel Cleric's Creations showing a piece he made for it. The challenge actually started with the channel Game Changer Creations Studio quite a while ago, but I didn't hear about it until I saw Cleric's video. The concept is that when you order a drink at a bar, it comes with a coaster to put under the glass. So the challenge is about creating a little diorama that would fit on one of those coasters. I thought completing that challenge would be a good excuse to make some small trees. I don't have any coasters from a bar handy, so I'm tracing the line of this one. I think all coasters are basically the same size anyway. The first step of turning a plant root system into a mini tree is harvesting the plant you're going to use. Then go over it like a bonsai. By that I mean style it the way a bonsai artist styles trees. Think about what makes a large old tree look like a large old tree and emulate that. Nothing would grow directly down from the branches, away from the sky, so check for elements emerging from the bottom surface of a branch and make sure you remove those. If any elements cross over each other, remove or shorten one so the overall silhouette won't be cluttered. If anything emerges from between two other branches, remove it. Finally, make sure there aren't any straight lines anywhere. Curved, sweeping, organic looking lines only. Young plant shoots grow in straight lines, so seeing any of them here will spoil the illusion of this being an established tree. That includes the line of the trunk emerging from the ground when you eventually put this on a base. Make sure it's canted slightly in one direction or another, rather than sticking out perfectly straight. Once you've done the preliminary styling, let the plant dry completely. I like to leave them in sunlight for hours if possible, but they'll dry fine in a warm, dark place as well. People dry and keep leaves and flowers all the time. This really isn't any different. How long it takes for every bit of water to evaporate from the fibers will depend on how thick the plant is. The tiny, hair-thin filaments on the roots will become crispy in a matter of hours. Thicker stems might take days. I like to let the plant stand for a few days before I come back to it. I don't always do this, so I don't think it's really necessary. But when I remember to, I like to leave them drying in a vertical position. Plants are composed of fibers which are like straws that draw moisture upward from the roots into the stalk. So leaving the plant vertical as it dries can help that moisture drain away down the length of those straws. It will happen anyway, but gravity can help make the process go faster. I also like how gravity helps the branches subtly splay out as they dry. If you want to leave the plants in a vertical orientation but aren't ready to attach them to bases yet, you can always use a pencil or something similar, poke holes in a cardboard box, then use that for drying rack for the plants. When the plants are dry, use the bristles of an old paintbrush to flick away any dirt that you missed before. This will probably take off some more filaments from the branches that became overly fragile as they dried. That's alright. Weaker elements are constantly breaking off of actual trees over time. so any breaks or scars on these will only make them look more realistic. I'm scouring my largest tree with a wire brush to remove the bland looking outer layer and expose more interesting looking color and texture, and make this look more like a unique fantasy tree. If you're worried about snapping the dry stalks when doing any of this, remember that many plants are hollow tubes. You can just fill them with something like glue from a glue gun, so that they become totally solid and rigid before you work on them. Plants have pores, like your skin has pores, and those open up when the plant becomes damp. We want to dampen the plant again now, but not with water. Spritz it lightly with isopropyl alcohol so those pores will open, then spray on some kind of varnish or clear coat. The fibers will drink in the varnish and the plant will harden into a plastic-like consistency as it cures. Now there's nowhere left for rot to start forming in material because there's varnish everywhere moisture would want to go, including inside the fibers. Treat any other organic material the same way. I'll be using mosses and tea leaves as forest understory in this diorama, and using the exact same steps to reserve those.
As a bonus, the varnish has a fixative quality and helps prevent shedding or crumbling of delicate parts. The plant will be more robust and handleable from here on.
At this point, you could paint the tree if you intend to do that. Spray paint or an airbrush would make that incredibly easy, even though the branches are so fine. Or you could add leaves to the branches by spraying on some kind of glue or adhesive, then sprinkling flocking onto it. I'm not adding leaves to these ones because we're creating a late autumn or early winter scene, so all the branches would naturally be bare. And here's the result. Just like with group plantings of bonsai, I always avoid even numbers. They look much too regimented and artificial. Whether it's 3, 5, 7, or 9, I always make sure there's an uneven number of main elements in the scene. Now go find some wild plants and make your own diorama or tabletop terrain from them. And remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want more tips about making things on a budget of 0.